Hey y'all, welcome back to the Purpose University podcast, your source of inspiration as you seek to create your best life and be your most authentic self. I am your host, Dr. Eve, and I am so glad that you have decided to join me at this time. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to say thank you for checking out the show, and I certainly hope you'll come back for more. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, folks, I'm super excited today to have Janae Adams on the Purpose University podcast. Let me tell y'all, I met Janae back in December during a conference where we both spoke, and she is amazing. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is an international speaker, author, and the CEO of EMAC Consulting. When she graduated from college, she had $50,000 of debt, but in 2 years, y'all listen, 2 years, she gotten herself out of that. Since she's been traveling the world, speaking for corporations, high schools, and nonprofits, and you name it, anybody who's going to definitely listen and need to learn about financial literacy. She's also the author. So I said she's author. She authored 2 books. Okay. She's just released her second one, which is The Money Attractor, Everyone's Guide to Winning with Money so they can live their dreams. And the first one is Debt Sucks University. You got to check her out because Enterprise, Black Enterprise, Fox Business, Jet Magazine, Huffington Post have all checked her out, just to name a few. Janae, welcome to the Purpose University podcast. How are you?
I'm great, and thank you for having me.
Great. Thank you for coming onto the show. I'm glad to hear that you are great. And again, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit with us and chat about you, really, and sharing your expertise, but especially your experience being a first-generation college graduate. So before we get too far into the first gen stuff, which is my favorite part, tell us about yourself. I guess what parts I may have missed. Who are you and what is it that you do? What's your story?
Well, I am an international speaker, like you said, and I just really love to share my story with people around the world about how I paid that $50,000 of debt off in 2 years. And really what it's about is showing people that I used to be where you are right now, and I was able to get out of it. So it's hope for you as well if you just take the steps that I give you and really look after your why and go for it. So I'm also a mother of 2 beautiful children, a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old, and then I'm also a wife. And definitely, I am a child of God, and I love what I do. It's my passion. It's what wakes me up every morning.
I love that. Loving the idea of working from your why and loving to get up every morning. There's nothing in the world like it. So I'm going to ask a question I'm sure a lot of people want to know. How in the world did you even get to $50,000 of debt? What happened?
And my story is so different than so many people because I actually went to college on a full ride tennis scholarship. So everything was free for me with school, thank goodness. And like you said, I am a first generation graduate. So my mother was definitely, if you don't get a tennis scholarship, you're not going out of state. You better figure it out. So I did get a tennis scholarship. And it's when I got out of college is when the debt happened. And the first one was getting married. He had $25,000 of debt of school loans for 1 year of college because he thought he was on a basketball scholarship and he wasn't for all 4 years. He come to find out. And then after that, we ended up buying a car. You know how everybody wants to live that American dream. You have to have a car. You have to have a brand new one. And so that was the other $25,000. So with just those 2 items, student loans and a car, $50,000 in debt. So I'm sure people listening that are thinking, I already have student loan debt, and she didn't even have it, and she still ended up in $50,000. So I am a warning. I do not do that at all.
Absolutely. So it's just really interesting because, again, like you said, you were first gen and you got to go to school on a full academic scholarship is a really big deal. What even made you want to go to college in the first place?
Well, that's just what it was. It was basically, and that's my mindset growing up the whole time, whether it was people telling me or it just was ingrained in me, is that you're going to go to college, and going to college gets you a career. It makes you rich. That's what it was always. It's like, no matter what, the end goal is college, period. Doesn't matter if you go pro in tennis or whatever. Tennis is the vehicle to get you there, but you're going there to get a job, a career, and make some good money, more money than you've ever made in your life. And so the money was the motivating factor. All the time in college, I was looking at salaries. Okay, brand manager makes this. All right, marketing manager makes that because I was a business major. Okay, this person, I was looking at salaries. What can I make? It wasn't about the passion at first or anything. So that's why I'm so thankful for what I do today, because the money comes and goes, but it's like you love it so much. But it definitely was about you're going to go to college. The money is going to be great if you go to college.
That's what they say. But they definitely don't tell your kid what you do matters, because I went to college, got a mass comm degree, ended up in education. So
it definitely does, and that's what I tell students. I tell students that all the time. I said you need to know what you're going into and what the career prospects are coming out. Because I used to have college professors tell us, if you think you're gonna make more than $35,000 or $40,000, then you're dreaming. And in my head, I was saying the devil is a lie. I'm coming out making at least 50. And I came out making 55.
Nice.
I made 45 as an intern because I was so determined that I was going to make good money, and that wasn't counting bonus. And so I always tell students, you just, depending on what you want to make and your passion is, you need to look at what those numbers look like after college. Because you can't go into all this debt and then come out making $30,000. That just don't make sense. I don't care what your dream school is. If you want that dream career, like that passion, you want to help people. So let's say social work. You want to help people. That's your passion. You can't go to a $50,000 a year school and think you're going to make it as a social worker. It just doesn't work that way.
No, that's real. So thinking about, you graduating, and you said you came out making 55.
Yep, 55.
So it sounds like your story is a little bit different from some people's story. I mean, of course it would be, but a lot of people graduate and don't have a job. they graduate and they go home to be on their mama or their grandma couch to figure it out. So what happened for you after you graduated that was like, wow, 55? Because that was making it. That was making it. Especially in first year, that's making it.
Yeah, that is making it. And it was all intentional when I was in college. I was a tennis player, which means we could not get jobs. We could not do internships unless we got ahead in our years. So for the first 2 years of college, first 2 summers, I had to go to school in the summer at a local college at home. I had to go both sessions to get ahead of year so I can get permission to miss my fall semester, my senior year, to do an internship. And so I only had one chance to the type of internship I wanted to get, because I only had one option, because most times internships do turn into jobs if it's done right. And so I said, this has to be the right company. This has to be the company I want to work for afterward and everything. And it just happened that, and this is like in my first book, this story, and I shared it on stage, is that somebody from Pfizer Pharmaceuticals came, and he was an alumni of the school. And he was giving out $50 bills to students for answers about the Orangeburg Massacre, which happened on our campus in 1968. And I said to myself, I don't know what he does, but I need to know who he works for, that he's able to give out $50 bills. And that's how I am serious. Like, when I tell you everything was money motivated in college about where I was going to work, it was. This man gave out $50 bills, and I ended up in the industry for 8 years because of that.
Wow. Okay, but let's tap into that a little bit, because you said everything was money motivated. Why?
It's just that I guess I've always loved money growing up. Like, I used to sell, I had a bubble gum machine when I was little that I got for Christmas. You could have just turned it. You can put a penny in it. You could just turn it and gum would come out. But I used to have kids come in with a quarter to get a handful of little gumballs. So I've always been someone who's tried to make money growing up. And so I just think that was my mentality going forward. Whenever it came to college, I always sold stuff. I sold stuff in college. I sold chips to my roommates for $1 that I didn't want, that my mama bought. I've always been that kind of business-minded person, and I always wanted to get paid, what I wanted. I didn't care what anybody said. So it's just always been ingrained in me. And I know that money is not everything, but money gives you options. And that's what it's about. Because I didn't grow up, dirt poor, nothing like that. I was middle class, 2 working parents. My senior year, that January, my father died of a heart attack. And so it was just like, I've got to do it. It's my mama left now. My brothers are older. It's me. And, I got the opportunity to go to college and do the best that I can and make as much as I can so we can have the best life ever. And that's my mentality. Yeah.
But that's real. And then thinking about a lot of first gens too, because like you said, you were middle class. There are several who are from the low ACS background like myself. And money has been the motivation for some things because I don't want to be broke like I was when I was growing up. And like you said, money gives you options. Like when you don't have money, that's the difference between going to Burger King or going to a gourmet burger spot. And sometimes you want to have those experiences, but only money can give you that. But you're right that it's not everything. Because even you said earlier how you started to tap into your passion work, or you realize that while money is something special, that, you know, you're grateful for what you're doing now because it gets you out of bed in the morning. So with that, my thought is, at what point did you realize you were living your best life?
I would say when these students, and most of the time I'm speaking to college students, when they email me or DM me and they said that story you shared about the homeless woman in Indiana and how your tips you gave her I taught to make money, that I want to let you know that me and my brother are also homeless, and you gave us hope with that story, and we're going to try to figure out what we are good at that doesn't take any money but can make us money. I get those kind of messages all the time based off of stories that I have shared on stage and just my own life. And even this year I've gone to a lot of PWIs, and even though it's a PWI, a private white institution, they still have a large African American population that comes to hear me speak. And I would say 7 young ladies this semester from different schools came up to me and said, it's so great to see someone who looks like me and talking about money. Like, not only looks like me, but talking about money. And I mean, it's a story. I mean, parents who inbox me and say, thank you. My son said, you talked to his institution a couple of weeks ago, and he came home excited, said, Mom, we can do this. She was in the same situation you in. We can do this. I know how we can do this. So that is, I mean, I get like goosebumps just thinking about it. And that's what gets me up in the morning, because, every time I get tired and I get frustrated because somebody said no, I say, you know what? It's somebody out there that needs me to keep going. Somebody out there that needs me to keep fighting for the yes, because it's going to change their life.
I can absolutely see that. So going back to your time as a college student, and when you were thinking about what next, what do you wish somebody would have told you about life after you graduated? I
would say travel more at the time. And the only reason I say that is because at the time I saved really good. Like, after college, I made good money and I was saving it. And now I look back today, I was like, you're not even sure you could have took. But I had that mentality. I don't want to lose nothing. I can't lose this $1,000. I can't lose this $3,000. And it's just thousands sitting in the bank account. But I'm just like, I can't lose it. I can't lose it. And I think about it today. And that's why I'm starting to shift my focus with my business to whenever I'm going to speak somewhere, how can my family and I make this into a trip? And I'm consciously doing that now so that we can travel more. I'm working, but we also are traveling at the same time. So I'm actually getting to the point where I am going to travel more, because I work so much that it's hard for us to pick a vacation in there. But now that regret I have from after college, where I could have been just gone everywhere that I wanted to go. I'm doing it. I'm fixing it now so that now it's going to be 4 of us instead of just one of us experiencing it.
That's really cool. Family first. And imagine that you value family. Being an entrepreneur has allowed you to be able to include them. So that's real nice. Thinking about what the future looks like and how you make up for the time you lost. So,
yeah, definitely.
Congrats to you for having figured out a way to make it work. So I'm just wanting to kind of touch a little bit now on adversity. Can you tell us about a time that you were faced with adversity, and how was it that you overcame it?
It was during a time, and I would say probably before I went full time, not even before I went full time into my speaking engagement, speaking, but before I got laid off and found out I was in a $50,000 of debt. Those 2 years leading up to that, those 2 years leading up to that was hard, because I couldn't understand why. Because what I did was I used to work in Bloomington, Indiana for 3 years. And I ended up transferring back home because I missed home. And when I transferred home, that's when I got married. But those 3 years after college, I was top notch in the company. Bonuses, awards, trips, all of that. And I transferred home, and I still was getting awards and that kind of stuff. But the manager was just so against me. And it was it was stressful for 2 years. And I mean stressful for 2 years. And that helped me realize that it wasn't for me. And if I didn't get laid off in 2008, I wouldn't have never known I was in the $50,000 of debt. I found it out after I got laid off. So
wow. So really, you just didn't know, really?
Oh, no.
How did you not know?
Because think about it. It's to all of us, it's just numbers on paper. As long as the money's coming in and everybody's getting paid their minimum payment, we good. It's going to be plenty of listeners that hear this and they don't know to the penny what their student loans are or what their car loan is. They know their payment. Now they'll know that their car payment is $425 a month, but they would not know that they owe still $22,000, $572 left. You see? And that's how it works. Right. That's how it works. But when I got laid off that day, I started opening up statements. And I said, oh my goodness, we owe this much money, and now my 60% of our income is gone, and a car, and a health insurance, all of it gone. So that was the most adversity I have faced in my life, but it led to where I'm at today. So I'm thankful for it, but it was a stressful time.
So was it at that point that you started your business as well?
I didn't start because really at the time, it was all about, Janae, we got to just get out of this debt. Like, you need to get another job so we can pay this off. And it was like towards the end of paying it off, with like near the end of the 2-year mark, that people started asking me, Janae, can you come speak to our women's group? Can you come speak to our church group? And then one time I got a check and I said, maybe this can be money motivated again.
Wow.
But I was always passionate about personal finance, even when I was working the first time and, getting into debt. I still was looking for ways to make money as far as using tax liens and buying tax liens and, investing. I always was about money and growing wealth. It's just that this new way is I'm helping other people not only grow wealth, but before they get there, let's get your finances completely straightened out first, so that there's no going back. So it was money motivated at first, but just to see the changes in people over the last 7 years has been, just awesome.
Nice. Because I know sometimes, and I asked the question because I know sometimes people will start a business or start a venture while they're working through something. And so it's just nice to know that for you, it was inspired by, oh, wow, you did it? Oh, yeah, I did. I could teach people this. And then to know that it meant so much. So thank you for sharing that as well, because as an entrepreneur, I know that's something that you really pride yourself on being. It's also teaching that you get out of debt first, then start the business, if you can, because you didn't have the means to even be able to do it, yet alone even know, because I imagine what you've learned from that has also helped you in your business finances.
It definitely has, because a lot of people before they jump out, and they're like me, they're just tired of that job. They're tired of listening to somebody else tell them how to do things, and it makes them want to rush into that business. But you need to have just a stable platform, a stable foundation with that business, because you don't want to have to go back to them people. You don't want to have to go back to that job. And that's what you got. That's what calms people down. That's what, whenever I'm trying to tell people about entrepreneurship, I said, it's okay. Just take it, because you got to remember that paycheck is funding your dream. And if you think about it that way, then the next time they say something to you that you don't like, it won't bother you as much, because you're saying to yourself, I'm using you. You think you're using me? I'm using you to fund this next, my $1 million life that's about to happen. So you can say whatever you want to say. You're probably miserable in your life, and that's fine. But I know I'm going to take this paycheck and I'm going to invest into my business. I'll come back tomorrow and I'm going to take that paycheck. I'm investing in this business and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to be just fine, and y'all ain't never going to see me again.
Well, just like that. Just like that. Well, no, but real, I've had to tell people, because like my experience with having transitioned to entrepreneurship was one that I didn't think through, not because I didn't want to, but because I did not plan on becoming an entrepreneur. Yes. I left for one reason, and during that time, I was like, I should try working for myself. But when people are telling me how much they are struggling in their jobs or not liking them or whatever, I always give them the same perspective. You've got to think about them as an investor. And, you know, until you can do what you want to do, bite the bullet and handle your business. Like, that's just what it is. Yeah. So thinking about all things, being first gen, entrepreneur, having lost your job, you've had a lot going on. Then just the journey, but it's life, right? That's the thing about being an adult. People tell you, you better enjoy being a child. You're like, okay, I enjoy it. Then you get grown and you're like, oh, that's what they meant. Exactly. But what would you say is the best advice someone has ever given to you?
The best advice I got and I received in college, and I was on that interview for that pharmaceutical job, that internship. And they told me, I don't care where your piece of paper came from. I care about how much money you're going to make me. And that was the realest thing they could have told me, because I said, and it proved to me once I got on the internship. On the internship, I was sitting beside someone who had an MBA, and they were making the same exact money I was making as an intern. And I said to myself, this company and this industry does not care. Everybody gonna start where they gonna start, and how you gonna make more money is how much you make us. And that's how it was the entire time I was there. They did not care about your piece of paper, the degrees you had. If you don't come in here and make us no money, you gonna get fired.
Well, and if you make us money,
guess what? Yeah, you're gonna get tens of thousands of dollars in bonus. But if you don't make no more money, you're gonna get on a plan and you're gonna get out of here.
Because that's just how it is.
Advice I ever got. Yeah, in business, definitely, that is how it is. It doesn't matter what company it is. If you're in corporate America, if you're in a business world, they care about the bottom line. They've been here 100 years and they trying to be here another 300. And you got to be a part of that, or you got to get out.
That's real. So, all things considered too, what would you say has been the most challenging aspect of navigating life as a first gen?
As a first gen, it's just, I would say a lot of it is, the pressure of it. Especially when you're in college, because you're the one that's you're going to be the first one. Your sophomore year, junior year, you're almost there. You're going to be the first one. And you want to get in my opinion, I wanted to get the best grades. I wanted to be number one on the tennis team. I needed to make sure I got an internship making money and come out making money, because with first gen and just with America in general, it's like we got to move through these steps in life. You can't miss the steps and my life in my head was so planned out. Janae, you go to college, you graduate, you get married, you have kids. Well, first you get a house, and then and that's the pressure. And a lot of first gen parents do that. Not that my mom really did that, but you can tell when we sat on the back of the porch with my house when I got it built, and she said, "Janae, you done did it." And I felt so proud. But that was before I found out $50,000 in debt. The smart thing to do, because we're looking for that. That's where the pressure comes from. We're looking for mama and daddy or whoever we stay with to say, "Great job, I'm so proud of you." That kind of stuff. What made sense is Janae should have stayed in an apartment for 2 or 3 more years and saved up a down payment for her. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that pressure for first generation people, because we're just trying to be better. Like, they done sacrificed my mama. Tennis lessons are not cheap. And they're not cheap. Those tennis rackets cost $225 each. Like, I knew that was pressure. I got to get a scholarship. And I'm telling you, I went hard for those scholarships. I actually had somebody drive me down to South Carolina State, where I ended up going because I could not get him on the phone. We went in his classroom because he was a teacher on campus and showed him my tape, and that's how I got my scholarship. That is a 17-year-old. So that's the kind of pressure that I put on myself. Yeah. That's the
but you understood you had to. Yeah, that's $225 for a tennis racket. Listen. Listen. I feel bad about all the ones I used to throw around now. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
You have to have 2 of them. Yeah. And the lessons, like, we found, thank goodness we got to a point that a lot of tennis pros, like at country clubs, they wanted to just coach me because we had gotten that great. And so people who were $125 an hour would do it for free so that they could say that they were training me. But that's how expensive tennis is. And so I knew that she done spent all this money, took me to all these tournaments. I've got to get a scholarship. My mama can't pay a dime for college. And that's how that's the stress. That was stressful. And that was the challenge going through college. And not only am I here, but I can't disappoint her with my grades. I don't care what I'm doing. I got to stay on the tennis team, and my grades got to be this. And that's how I ended up getting summa cum laude. It was that kind of stuff. I mean, all of it pushed me to greatness, but it was stressful the entire time.
So how then have you been able, I mean, just curious, how have you been able now as an adult to manage that stress? Do you still feel that same pressure?
And I don't feel that pressure from her because, you know, she made, like, at first when I was going into being a full-time entrepreneur, she, of course, said, you know, you sure about this? I said, yeah, I'm sure. But that also, you know, I also, of course, still want to make her proud, but I want her not to ever have to worry about nothing ever again. So it's a new kind of pressure that, you know, I got the energy. I'm young. I got the, you know, the mental part, the business part. As hard as I grind, that means that you don't ever have to worry about nothing for the rest of your life. That's the stress now, but that's good stress. That's stress I want, because you ain't gonna spend your years in a Medicaid nursing home. Not with me alive. Not with me alive. You know, because that's so many times with, you know, lower income African Americans. A lot of times our grandparents and parents spend their last days in nursing homes they shouldn't be in. And so that's what she ain't gonna do. So that's the pressure I put on me now, and I want her to travel more. I used to send her on trips all the time before I found out I was $50,000 in debt. But once we got out of it, of course we went to Costa Rica. We done been to Jamaica since then. But I want her to go across the water. And I want my mother-in-law and father-in-law to go across the water. I want our whole family to travel. Like stuff that they ain't never got to do. They mamas and daddies didn't get to do. Sisters and brothers, we go do that. And so that stress and that grind, that's worth it. Like, I can't wait to get up in the morning to make sure that happens.
Absolutely. Well, that is, I'm telling you, look, define the motivation. And whatever you do, find a motivation. And it's nice to know that you know what motivates you, like, you know, and like you said, getting that money. As we're closing up, you know, I have one more thing that I like to just know, or to ask rather. What do you want listeners to walk away with?
I just want them to walk away with that. If you're in debt, if you owe people and so forth, if you're trying to get your money together, just understand that, yes, it's going to be hard, but you're going to say no for a short period of time so you can say yes for the rest of your life. And that's what I want them to know.
Well, I have really enjoyed this conversation with you today, because that's what it is. And thank you for your jewels of wisdom. Thank you for taking your own chance on yourself to even become an entrepreneur, such that we'd even cross paths and I'd learn about your work. How can we find you in the social media space or the internet space, period?
Yes. So I think the best way to find everything is on Instagram, and that's Janae Adams Speaks. So it's spelled like Janet. So JanetAdams SPEAK. And then, of course, my website is sucksuniversity.com, and you can find a lot of things there as well.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for your time, Janae. Have a wonderful evening. Until next time, we'll catch up with you.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Before you go, just a few things to note. First and foremost, let's get connected on Instagram and or LinkedIn. You can find me at EVEHUDSONPHD on both social networks. Don't forget to head on over to check out my site at www.evehudsonphd.com. And if you should decide to purchase a book or apparel just for listening to this podcast, you get 10% off of your order. Just use the code podcast when you check out. Last but certainly not the least, in all that you do, remember to be resilient, authentic, and intentional. I'm out.